Check these babies out, y'all. They are thriving, but only because I'm giving them what they need. Stick around if you want to find out how. Welcome back to Ray Ray's Garden, y'all, and to part 4 of our seed starting series. Watering, fertilizing, and caring for our little seedlings. Today, we're learning about keeping these guys happy and healthy as they grow. Too much water or too much fertilizer, and these guys are not gonna make it to spring. So let's jump right in, y'all. So I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to gardening, especially water, and I almost never use tap water. Tap water almost always has chlorine, and in many cases has chloramine, which is even worse. Don't get me wrong, I want most bacteria in my water killed, but when it comes to natural gardening, we're actually encouraging microorganisms, and the last thing we want to do is kill everything off. Unlike chlorine, chloramine doesn't evaporate right away. In fact, it could take weeks to evaporate. So the safest thing I can do for my indoor operation is to use distilled water. This stuff is super cheap, y'all, especially when I buy it in the 6-pack box. It's like $1 a gallon or so, and definitely worth it. I'm gonna use distilled water the entire time they're growing in this indoor operation, and I've got a filter on my hose, so when I bring them outside and transplant them, no tap water is killing any of my natural biome. These seedlings are tiny, y'all. In fact, the little cells, they have very little soil in there. They don't hold much water, so don't overdo this. They don't need a flood. Check the soil every day. If it seems dry on top, or the color's a little bit lighter, it's time to water. But if they're damp, leave them alone. Check them tomorrow. Overwatering could lead to damping off, which is a crazy fungal issue and a lot easier to prevent than to fix. One of the best ways to prevent all kinds of issues is to bottom water. It's super easy if you're using these trays. Just move it out of the way a little bit, pour in some water, let it soak up for a while, and if there's any left, just dump it out. For these little chilies right here, I've been bottom watering probably every other day. In fact, I was busy for a couple of days and I missed it, and they were totally fine. When it comes to caring for your seedlings, the best advice I would give is to check them every single day. And when you do check them out, inspect for any issues, guys. You can play with them a little bit, get them used to being touched, and look for any signs or symptoms that something's not right. Every day, just spend a few minutes inspecting them. You can look for signs like yellowing leaves, or maybe they're starting to droop or something like that. And I generally start to touch them at this point quite often. It actually helps them and gets them stronger. Airflow is also super important. So this is the point where I'm gonna start using that little fan I showed you in a previous video. Here's a list of common problems you may run into when you check these every day like you're supposed to. Yellowing leaves. This could mean too much water, not enough light, or a nutrient deficiency. Adjust accordingly, but only change one variable at a time. Leggy seedlings. That means they're super skinny and reaching for the light, which means we need to get that light closer to them. You can either raise your plants up or bring your lights down. Drooping seedlings. This could be overwatering or underwatering, or you might just need to add a fan to get some better airflow. Check the moisture of your soil and add a fan if you need to, or maybe consider bringing the fan closer to the seedlings. This is the part of the video you need to slow down and pay a lot of attention to, because we can either really help our seedlings or do a lot of damage when it comes to fertilizing. I suggest using an organic fertilizer, maybe fish emulsion, or what I use, which is Fox Farm Grow Big. In fact, that's all I use during the seedling process. This stuff is all natural, it's pretty affordable, and you can get it online or at your big box store. In fact, I got an Amazon affiliate link in the description, so go check it out, y'all. This Fox Farm Grow Big liquid fertilizer is a 6-4-4 fertilizer. That may not mean anything to you. However, I'll do a video on that later and explain it, but for now, I would just say whatever you use, try to make sure that first number is a little bit higher than the second and the third. But slow down, guys, because chances are your plants don't need any fertilizer until they get their true set of leaves. Usually the true leaves show up after a couple of 3 weeks, but you're better off being late on fertilizer than earlier, That stuff can absolutely stress out your plants and basically fry them. Almost every liquid fertilizer has instructions for normal regular feeding, which is like full-size plants, and then usually it's about half of that for seedlings. I suggest using the seedling amount or even less the very first time you use it. As far as a fertilizing schedule goes, I'm gonna do that super weak dose the first time, and then I'm gonna wait 10 or even 14 days, and then I'll probably fertilize like once a week. Our plants absolutely need fertilizer, but this can be a very dangerous thing and wipe out all your hard work. So go easy on this, guys. Start off small. Less is more. Watering, caring for, fertilizing, checking them every day. It might seem like a bunch of work, guys, but I promise it's so worth it come spring. There's just something unbelievably special about transplanting a plant in your garden that you grew from a seed. And speaking of transplanting, guys, the next video in the series, part 5, is all about taking them from the little trays and putting them in some bigger pots, aka potting up. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss part 5, and of course the finale of this series, part 6. If this video helped you or you're getting something out of this series, give it a thumbs up so more people can see it. Drop any questions you might have about seedling care in the comments, y'all, and let us know how your seedlings are coming. I would love to hear from you. We'll catch you next time, y'all. Ray out.